Hi everybody, so today we're going to have a look at point of view, and it might be a good idea for you to also have a look at the video on perspective so that once we have a look at both we can tell the difference between what they are. Alright, so your goal for today is to gain an understanding of what point of view is and how it helps us to relate to a text. In order to show me that you understand this concept, you're going to analyse a range of different texts and tell me what point of view is and how it changes our ideas and our views of that text. So what is point of view? Quite literally, and this is a definition that I've written so I hope it makes sense, point of view is the point from which a composer allows us to view their work. Now the word allows us is really important here because a composer always chooses the way that they present their work. Now if you have a look up here at this image, we've only got a very select sort of point of view. If we look through that little scope, that little magnifying glass, we miss out on the whole landscape. It's the same in a text. So if a writer decides to tell a story from first person point of view, for instance, we might miss out on a whole range of information that could come from other characters. And so it means that a story can be narrowed or it can be widened out. So a composer always controls what we see and how we view a text through the way that images are presented, through character voice, like third, second and third person. So why is it important? Why is point of view important? Now, as I said before, it allows a composer to privilege certain ideas. So say they were to give from the point of view of third person, they could open it up to the ideas of many, many different characters. Same with a film. Using different angles and shots, they can privilege certain information by putting those shots from a certain character's perspective. A point of view is a really technical thing which allows us to either widen a story or a film or to narrow it down. Composer always either widens it or narrows it depending on what they want you to find out and on what they want you to think. So here's an example. Our point of view is from up above Puss in Boots here, and he's very, very cute. We're getting a close-up, okay, so all of these film shots, a close-up of his face because we're meant to feel sorry for him, okay? So the character here we could assume is quite cute and nice and lovely. However, if you've seen the film, we know that Puss in Boots is actually not like that. And this point of view shows us that he's actually a fighting cat. So we are sort of at his belly button here. Our actual view is looking almost up into his face, or at least we're level with him. So we're kind of on equal footing with him here, whereas before we look like we're above him and he's all submissive. So we've got two really different views of the same character, all because of the film shots that are being used. Alright, now point of view in a novel, and this is something you might need to brush up on, and there's a video on first, second, third person, because this is how in a story, a written story, we get point of view through either first, second or third person. And I've chosen the very best book in the world, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, to show you how it works. Now here's the original. We've got J.K. Rowling here using third person narration, where she says, Fang rested his head on Harry's knee and drooled all over his robes. Harry and Ron were delighted to hear Hagrid call Filch the old git. Alright, so here we've got, because it's third person narration, we've got Harry and Ron's perspective, because they're delighted that Hagrid has called Filch an old git. So we get a wider view of the characters and of the story. Now I've changed this, or J.K. Rowling's original, into first and second person to give you an idea of how point of view can change. So in first person we say, Fang rested his head on my knee and drooled all over my robes. I was delighted to hear Hagrid call Filch the old git. Now if I do this, I miss out on Ron's point of view. And so the story becomes narrowed because it's just about me, Harry. Alright? If I do it over here with second person, we have Fang rests his head on your knee and drools all over your robes. You are delighted to hear Hagrid call Filch the old git, and you're pretty sure that Ron is too. Now I've changed that to present tense as well, just because it sounded better. So here we've got your perspective, because you are Harry, And all you can do is guess at what Ron is thinking. So we don't actually know. And so you can see from changing the point of view between first, second, or third person, it also changes the perspective that we get, the ideas that we get from different characters. And if you were to do this on a broad scale, it would completely change the story. So have fun with the work you've got to do, and we'll pull all this stuff apart together in class.